Well, I'm making this video because I turned on the internet today and checked my email and did a few things, and I saw an article here: stabbing of Regina social worker highlights risks of the job. Wow. It's extremely concerned about, what's going on. And then I scrolled down and I saw a whole bunch of comments at the end of this particular article. A lot of the comments were in defense of several individual and unique comments that were aimed at a lot of anger and hostility and complete dumbfoundedness with respect to Child Protective Services agencies. They're run by the provincial governments throughout Canada. They're called CPS, Child Protective Services. They all have a different name. In Ontario, Children's Aid Society, CAS, is the one. In let's say Quebec, it's called the DPJ or the DYP, Department of Youth Protection, or Département de Protection de la Jeunesse. In Alberta, CAFS, Child and Family Services. They all have different acronyms all over Canada in each and every different province. They're assigned a different acronym. But the reason I'm making this video is because I was caught off guard when I saw that a social worker had been stabbed. And then when I started to see the comments people were putting there, I felt compelled to mention and to educate people about just what's going on, how these social workers are, in my view, recruiting innocent, vulnerable, and helpless children into the Canadian Child Protective Services networks, foster care networks. They're recruiting these kids into this system, sometimes arbitrarily and needlessly and unjustly, I might add, using immoral, unethical, and at times even criminal acts against the children and families. And thereafter, once the kid's in the system, they quickly move the kid through the system and foster them out to foster parents. I mean, good, loving, and caring parents and families are being destroyed. And children are being ripped out of these families for very, very stupid and ridiculous reasons. It's just incredible. And not only that, but these workers are literally going to court and committing criminal acts in front of a judge, committing perjury, telling the judge absolute lies. And the people show up in court, the parents, they show up with a lawyer, and either the lawyer blocks them from giving their evidence, or in the very rare circumstances when the lawyer does give the evidence, the judge blocks the evidence from being heard in the case. It's all arranged. It's completely insane. Now, the reason I decided to make this particular video, because I did do a lot of postings on this particular site today, but the reason I made this video is because I took the time to call a woman who works in the office at what's called the Saskatchewan Association of Social Workers. There's their logo. And this is located in Regina, Saskatchewan. There's the address, Saskatchewan Association of Social Workers, 2110 Lawrence Street, Regina, Saskatchewan, blah, 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 and everything's there. I called a woman, her name is Debb Fisher, left a few messages, and finally she got back to me. And this is the conversation I had with her, and it's incredible. When you listen to this conversation and you see how this woman freely and just like with no reserve whatsoever hangs up the phone on me while I'm talking to her, and all I'm trying to find out here is, was the woman who was stabbed a real social worker? Like, was she a recognized and order of the member? Was she a member of the Saskatchewan Association of Social Workers, or was she just a Child Protective Services delegate? Because these agencies are using more and more and more students out of school, straight out of university or CEGEP or whatever you want to call it, and these kids have just had simple courses in social work, and they're within a month of training or a couple of weeks of training, they are given the powers to literally go into a home and destroy that family by taking a child out of the family, and it's just insane what's going on. Now, if these workers were registered, let's say with the Saskatchewan Association of Social Workers, and if they were a member of these orders all across the different provinces in Canada, well, the orders could crack down on them and they could easily reprimand them and stop this insanity that's happening. But what these agencies are doing, they're very, very keen and clever, and so are the governments of each province, and they're hiring people and calling them delegates. They're not calling them social workers. These people do not have any social working degree whatsoever. They're calling them delegates. And what that does is protect these people from ever being held accountable for their actions by the orders and associations that are specifically mandated to, keep their members in order and to keep a watch on what's going on. Anyway, here's the conversation between me and Debb Fisher. I'm simply asking her if the woman who was stabbed is a registered social worker, and watch how she answers me. Watch how quickly, when she realizes that she's not controlling the conversation, just watch how quickly that she ends my engaging with her. Watch how she makes me feel that I don't even exist. Watch how she leaves me completely dumbfounded and lost in our conversation, because she decides that because she may not have the answers that I'm looking for, she's going to terminate the phone call.
Hello? Yes, it's John there, please.
Speaking.
It's Debb Fisher calling, Saskatchewan Association of Social Workers, returning your call.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. I was calling regarding to the, I'm sure you're aware of the incident out there with the social worker who's been stabbed. I was just wondering, is this person a real social worker? Are they accredited, or are they...
I'm not sure, because they didn't release the name of the person, and so we are unable to confirm whether the person is, in fact, a social worker.
You mean to tell me, where are you located?
For me?
Where are you located?
Where am I located?
Yeah, where's the Order of Social Workers of Saskatchewan located?
It's located in Regina.
It's in Regina, eh? Is that where the social worker or where this person got stabbed?
That's correct.
And this was a week ago, and you have no idea of this person's identity?
It wasn't disclosed in the newspaper.
I'm perfectly aware it wasn't, talked about in the news, but I mean, it's a very small place where you live, and you're not aware of who got stabbed?
John, I'm going to terminate this telephone conversation with you. What I am going to do is I am going to leave a message that you have called the SASW office, and that message will be sent to our executive director. If she wants to discuss this further with you, she certainly can.
Oh, but are you saying that you do know the identity then of this person?
I am going to terminate this telephone call right now. Thank you.
And with that, this woman literally hung up the phone on me. She literally terminated the call and hung up the phone on me. I can't believe it. But if you're a regular citizen and you have never dealt with these people before, I needed to play this conversation for you so you could understand what children and parents are going through right now and why so many children are dying in Canada, all across Canada, in each and every province. There's just so many deaths. So many children are being harmed, abused, and neglected in foster care, and believe it or not, they're being taken out of good, loving, and caring homes, and the reasons they're being taken out is exactly what you just heard. These people who are working for these social services agencies refuse to discuss the reasoning. They put stuff down on paper. They go to court and commit perjury. They tell lies in a court of judicial administrative process. And, going to court and telling lies and committing perjury, that's a criminal offense. None of them are getting charged. The judges are protecting these people in what they're doing. And children, by the thousands, are being apprehended each and every year throughout Canada. It's just terrible what's happening. 800 kids, close to 800 kids in Alberta, in I don't know how many years, who came into contact with the Alberta Child and Family Services Department, ended up dead. They were okay when they were with their families. Everything was normal. Oh my God. There was a child in Ontario. They seized the child from the family because the dad smoked marijuana from time to time. He didn't smoke it in front of the child. He smoked it out of the child's view. But because he smoked marijuana once in a while, the police went there and apprehended the kid, and they even ended up killing the father because he tried to intervene in not having his child taken away from him and his family. What's going on is absolute insanity, and I needed you to listen to how these people operate, how they quickly disengage, how they quickly terminate any conversations when you try to get answers from them or when you try to find out what's going on. In any Canadian court, anywhere in Canada, an individual has the right to have the entire case presented to them and everything explained to them fully before they actually are required to provide a full and entire defense. What these social services agencies are doing all across Canada as we speak are denying people their fundamental and guaranteed rights as per the Canadian Charter, their fundamental rights to know the cases and the case before them and to be allowed to present evidence to refute whatever the claims of these social services agencies are. When you're lucky enough, and this is not very often that this happens, but when you're lucky enough to get a good lawyer to represent you, then the judge will stop the evidence from being admitted into court when the lawyer tries to present it. But more often than not, the judges, the lawyers, the social workers, everyone involved is all on the same page, and it's just a theatrical event when you walk into the court. All the other parties have their scripts already prearranged, and they know what they're going to say and what they're going to do. And you're sitting in there not knowing what the heck is going on, but at the end of it, your child gets seized. Your child gets apprehended. Your child is legally kidnapped from you and your family forever. There's a lot of money in this when a child is apprehended, and there's even more money when a child is fostered out. This has become a business, and I am making this video in hopes that some people will listen to it, and please try to understand what's going on. Try to have an open mind. I know for me it took me about 1.5 years to understand the scope of what's happening, because these people do this in such a sneaky way that you literally have to be involved in it. You have to be a targeted parent and right in the system in order to watch it happen. And even then, I'd probably say a lucky guess is 76 to 78% of individuals don't even understand what's happened to them until it's late, until it's over. Because everyone involved is denying the parents and the children the right to be heard. And all the agencies at every provincial level, all the agencies designed by the government to protect people's rights and to protect the rights of the children in these circumstances are more often than not covering up for what's going on and finding most complaints submitted to them as unfounded. I know a woman in Quebec that was only given French court reports for the longest of time. French court reports, and their family was English. And the law, the Youth Protection Act, specifically stated that you must be given information in a manner so as to be able to understand it. The case was submitted, the complaint was submitted to the Quebec Human Rights Commission, and lo and behold, they came back with the regular response, unfounded. Unfounded. It's unbelievable what's going on. People need to become aware of it, and you and any other concerned citizen needs to be ready to act on behalf of all children, Canadians at large must, and I repeat that, Canadians at large, conscientious citizens all over Canada must stand up here and now and put an end to this. This lunacy has gone on long enough.